Chancellor. So you've announced funding today for new buses, tram stops and a Metrolink station to Stockport, which have been promised for a very long time. So when can we actually expect to see it all happen?
This money is to be spent over the next 5 years, £2.5 billion for Greater Manchester, and we want to crack on and get these tram extensions, get these Metrolink sorted.
And you said earlier that you won't commit yet to the new Manchester to Liverpool railway line. Will you tell us what you think of the proposal?
We set out today the money that mayors are going to get for their local regional transport to connect towns and cities, including here in Greater Manchester. And we'll set out more plans next week. But as a Northern MP, I've always been in favour of more investment in transport in the north of England.
Yeah, and as a Northern MP, you'll know that one of the things that Andy Burnham has asked for is an underground station at Piccadilly. Do you recognise the need for that to improve connections to your own constituency in Leeds as well? And would you support it if the mayors can find the funding for it themselves?
We'll set out more funding and more announcements in the spending review next week, but no one can be in any doubt about this government's commitment to invest in the north of England. That's why we're more than doubling the funding for Andy Burnham to invest in city and town transport right across Greater Manchester.
The money that you've announced today actually came from Rishi Sunak cancelling the northern leg of HS2 originally. Does that mean there's no money left to boost that rail link between the North and Midlands now?
Well, Rishi Sunak never put any money into any of the schemes because he never allocated any money. What is different is that the money will all be allocated for the next 5 years in the spending review next week. That money will be available to the mayors in a way that the previous Conservative government made lots of promises, but those promises were shallow and hollow without the money to back them up.
But the northern leg of HS2 isn't happening anymore, so what's happened to the money that was allocated for that?
Well, the previous government overspent on high-speed rail. The costs have gone through the roof. We're getting a grip of those costs. We're setting out today £15.6 billion investment in city and regional transport, including £2.5 billion here in Greater Manchester. And we'll be setting out more detail of our spending plans, the £113 billion extra that this government is spending compared to the plans we inherited from the Conservatives.
And just last thing on transport, you said there's more to come next week. Will part of that be some kind of replacement for the North to the Midlands branch of HS2?
You're tempting me in giving away what's going to be in the spending review next week. I'm not going to do that. Today is about making our towns and our cities better connected with each other, linking up Bury and Rochdale and Stockport and Oldham with Manchester, ensuring that 90% of people in Greater Manchester live within 5 minutes of a service that comes at least every half an hour. That is going to be transformational for so many families and so many businesses here in Greater Manchester.
You said earlier this year that the government's going to back the regeneration of Old Trafford as well. Can you tell us what that actually means? Andy Burnham's asked for £300 million to move freight off the site. How is the government going to support that?
Well, we'll continue to work with Andy and also the developers at Old Trafford as they take forward those plans. But the announcements we're making today with a £2.5 billion investment in regional transport in Greater Manchester, more than doubling the funding than under the last previous government, shows that this government is backing Greater Manchester and backing the north of England.